Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, you're just not good enough? That for whatever reason you feel like you're constantly behind everyone else. I know that this is something that we all go through from time to time, and maybe it's just become a consistent, continuous way of life for you. I want to talk to you about this today because I feel like this is something that we all go through, of not feeling good enough, and understanding where it comes from and understanding some things that you can start to do to help change and rewrite the script, that the stories that you're telling yourself aren't necessarily true. Hi, I'm Dr. Asha. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, this idea of feeling not good enough, where does it come from? A lot of times it's something that started very early on that maybe we experienced when we were growing up as children. I could think of several times where maybe teachers have made comments about, you didn't do well on a test, or you weren't keeping up with the rest of the group, and then all of a sudden there's an internal dialogue that happens that makes us think and feel that we're not enough, that we're not good enough, that what we're doing is not like everybody else. And what happens with that is that we start having this negative self-talk that starts to just to kind of develop. And what is worse is that if we're getting that reinforced with our environment, and a lot of times, I don't believe that people do this intentionally, whether it's parents or authority figures, teachers and everything, but they may say something that we take to heart and we believe it to be true. So the first thing to understand is that more than likely that not feeling good enough or not feeling like you're doing enough or that you're not keeping up with everybody else is just an illusion. It's a lie that we're telling ourselves. And when these things come up over and over again, it becomes a way of life. So we have to look at separating the facts and our feelings. What is actually 100% true? And this can play out. For example, say you're at a business meeting, you're at a staff meeting, and you're with all your coworkers there, and the manager singles you out to tell you something that you could improve upon. Okay? And that's all that they're saying. You can look at the fact, and maybe it was something that you dropped the ball on, something that you did not complete properly, and you see that at that time. But here's the thing. You've got to separate the fact of the matter. The fact was that you didn't complete a certain assignment. The feelings that we associate with that probably are getting triggered by some sort of subconscious belief that we have developed, that we have in our subconscious saved from a previous experience. And when that gets triggered, that can take over. That can take over how we act, how we respond, and how we feel. When you're feeling not good enough, a lot of times you'll start to be an overachiever and try to do even more to help kind of compensate that void that you may be feeling. So we've got to learn to separate the facts from the feelings so that way we can see that the fact is that it's not that we're not enough. We are enough. We've always been enough. Realizing that is going to be key. Now, that brings me to another point that I want to share with you, and that's about the negative self-talk. Those negative things that we have learned to tell ourselves to reinforce that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, everybody's ahead of me, I'm falling behind, what I'm doing is not working, I'm not successful, all those things. I know that each and every one of us have dealt with those negative self-belief, self-talk from time to time. We have to flip the switch on that. Using positive affirmations and learning how to be kind to yourself. Really, if somebody said that to your best friend or a dear loved one, a family member or a friend, would you tolerate that? I bet you wouldn't. We don't want to be talking to ourselves that way. So we've got to learn to affirm in a positive way, reassuring ourselves that we are enough, that we are smart enough, that we're in the perfect place at the perfect time, that we know how to do things, we know how to handle things, and reinforce that, especially if you didn't get that reinforcement in your external environment. And it's great if you do. I'm telling you, I know people, I've worked with clients over the years that they get plenty of positive reinforcement from their external world, but guess what? Still that tape, that recording, that saved, message of not being good enough is still playing in the background, and that can really be contributing to self-sabotaging behaviors. So I want to advise you, if you are dealing with any of this, first of all, you're not alone. I want you to realize that we all go through this. No matter how much you see someone that is successful from the outside, it does not mean, I mean, we're all human beings. We all have the same feelings, thoughts, and everything. Each and every one of us, even whoever you think is the most successful person you've ever seen, has also dealt with self-doubt and feeling not good enough. It is something that we can constantly be working on and reinforcing the positivity in our life, really cultivating a positive mindset and the growth mindset to realize that failures are part of the journey, okay? Stop comparing yourself to anybody else. You are your own unique self. Separate the facts from your feelings and just realize that, you know what, you are doing your best and that you've got to treat yourself with loving care. That is part of self-care, and it's part of really flipping the switch of having a positive mindset rather than feeling the negativity. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or any comments, definitely head over to our website and download our 20 positive affirmations that will get you started if you've never worked with affirmations. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe, and thank you so much for joining me today.